Hi there, Yoann. This is Brad over at Go RV. I just wanted to introduce myself to put a face to the name so you know exactly who it is that you're talking to and who you've been dealing with. But more importantly, I wanted to introduce you to our Cougar line and specifically the 25 DBS that I'm inside right now. And I'll give you a better look at as we go through. So this is going to be the smallest one that I could fit within your length range and all that kind of stuff that I still have in stock. We go through these guys very, very quickly every year. This year and the last year in particular, we are seeing sales that are absolutely outrageous. So we are having a very difficult time keeping hold of stock just in general. But that being said, why these guys kind of stand out and why where the differences are when it comes to four season packages and stuff like that is that for most people in the industry, they all come up from Indiana, every single brand, and their winter is very different than ours. So typically you're going to see a lot of these four season packages, as it were, rated to about -8 Celsius or about that, right? Because they're all American. Now, where these guys stand out is they are the only ones in the industry that have a warranty for year-round use, a true warranty for year-round use. And where they get that is by basically having a mini mock-up of a real house's HVAC. So you have a vented, breathable attic space. So living in it, cooking in it, breathing in it, going through different climates, it handles just like a real house would. Allows it to breathe. You also have inline heating in your floor, so no cold spots, anything like that. They're not going off any splitters, so you shouldn't have any breaks in your airflow or anything like that. Your water lines run through the floor, not the underbelly, just like a real house would, to prevent freezing. You also have heaters on the tanks themselves, and the tanks themselves are also isolated, insulated, and have forced air under there as well. And it actually returns on itself, so it actually heats your gate valves and stuff like that a little bit too, which is really, really nice. So these guys in particular are fridge tested and rated for about -20, just under, which is in this industry unheard of, with the exception of Arctic Fox. And Arctic Fox, they're in a little bubble all into their own because they don't make a lot of them, so they're very, very expensive, but they're also way overbuilt, so they're very, very heavy as well, no matter how small you go with them. But these guys, commercially, when you sell that well for that long, 20 years in a row, being a bestseller across the industry, you could leverage your dealers to get better parts for cheaper and always stay ahead. So they kind of bully the industry a little bit. Now, there's a couple key things that I'll show you as we go through in terms of things that are really, really good, that stand out for this brand, beyond all the stuff that I already told you. But I'll give you a look on the inside of this guy right now so that you can see the floor plan for the shortest one that I still have left. So in the back, you'll be able to see, hopefully my cameramanship is worthwhile. In the back, you have a little hobbit hole door in there so that you can easily load up a whole lot of cargo or a kennel for the dog or what have you. The bunk will fold up that way, and you have lots of extra sleeping if need be, or extra storage as you go as well. You also, for a smaller unit, have a ton of counter space. Having that L-shape unit over here is really, really nice in a unit this size because it's very, very rare you actually get that much counter space and that much storage. So you have lots and lots of cabinetry over here, lots and lots of cabinetry up top, and of course, being more high-end, it is very solid. And you'll notice these guys also, they actually screw in their cabinetry as opposed to just stapling it in like a lot of their competition does, which I really, really appreciate. These guys not only spend the money on the bells and whistles, but they also spend it on the structure, which I appreciate. Another thing that I'll show you, which you can see actually exposed over here on the bunk, is that they use a thicker gauge of aluminum than everybody else in the industry, but they also dual weld every single connection. Now, even my side-by-side comparisons, everybody else in the industry is just going to have a little tack weld on the corners. That's just what they do. These guys, they go the extra mile and they make it a bit more solid as well. Coming into your bathroom, so you have a full stand-up shower in the back, lots of area with some counter space and a medicine cabinet and extra storage down there, which is really, really nice. And then coming around, great big pantry and deep, deep cabinets, which is really nice, as well as adjustable storage for your pantry and some extra storage down here. You also, in your slide box, you have storage underneath your U-shaped dinette with drawer access. You have your fridge over here, full 8 cubic foot fridge, and a king-size bed in here with access on both sides so you're not stumbling over each other, and lots of storage in here as well, both under your bed and deep cabinets for clothes or extra storage or what have you. Now, one of the cooler things that I actually think is super important about these guys that stands out for me as well is that they actually have color-coded wiring, which is super important. So if anything ever screws up, you can actually fix it. You just look at the wiring diagram and follow it back. Nobody else in the industry does this, and trust me, it's kind of why I'm bald trying to fix my folks' trailer a million times. Now, they also have the industry best 3-year structural warranty and all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to warranties, everybody in the industry has basically the same blanket warranty. They have a 1-year bumper to bumper, as it were, and then a 3-year structural. Now, where these guys are different in their warranty is that they actually cover a lot of stuff that most people don't. And the reason for that is because most people, or most companies, almost all of them, they outsource certain things, like your chassis, your slide box, stuff like that. These guys don't. They build it in-house, so they don't have to. So they could actually cover that with their warranty. Another big thing about these guys is when it comes to the windows and the form factor and stuff like that, everybody else in the industry, it's just a guy with a router that goes through, cuts them out, and fits them from there. With these guys, the big difference is that they laser precise cut every single window, laser precise fit every single window. The whole form factor is all laser CNC routed as well, so they don't have to rely on the same tricks. Because if, with the guy with a router, sometimes he'll screw up, right? Happens. And we call that in the industry just a Friday wall. So a lot of times they have to resort to certain tricks to fill in the insulation, use slats, stuff like that. These guys, they don't have to do that. Another thing that I'll show you real quick is this touch panel over here. And what that is your in-command system. So what that'll do is it'll control your HVAC, your slide, your awning, stuff like that. And it'll connect directly to your phone. So if you don't want to be screaming at each other to see if you're bashing into something with your slide, you could walk outside with your phone, open it up from there, be able to see that. If it's really windy and you're in bed and you want to bring in your awning, you could do that from your phone. If, the other half of the dogs or whatever are inside and it's really hot out and you want to turn on the AC, you could do that as well. Stuff like that. So, let's go on the outside. It's a little windy outside, that's why I started in here. But we'll, hopefully you'll be able to hear me. And I'll be able to show you some other features of this guy. So you have electric jacks on the front and back, pass-through storage up front, as well as an outdoor shower over here if you wanted to wipe off or spray off your feet, stuff like that. A little outdoor kitchen as well. And when it comes to the suspension and the pulling and all that kind of stuff, they're very much made for long distances, long trips, going through different climates and stuff like that. So you have a slightly wider stance on your axles, not so much that they're pulling against each other, but better weight distribution just overall. And I'll show you as well. Better weight distribution overall, and strong axles, as well as your big pass-through. Now, when it comes to your in-command system, a lot of people think, oh, well, I mean, it's a computer. What if it screws up and I'm in the middle of nowhere? Don't worry. Hasn't happened to us yet. But if it ever did, then that's where this comes in. You just take this panel off and you have a manual override right there. It has a little dial and a little thing that'll say, awning 1, slide 2, or whatever. Just turn that dial over there and then on and off. So you're more than set there. When it comes to the weights, I'll show you that as well. Actually, I'll give you a good look at this guy from the outside as well. So electric jacks all around, aluminum skeleton, and then best in the business when it comes to 4-season. And when it comes to our weights, we're at 6,200 pounds unloaded, and we're at 8,800 pounds full. So what your GVWR is, if you're unaware, that guy is full water, full cargo, bag of bowling balls over your shoulder, the most it'll weigh. So the most this guy's gonna weigh is 8,800 pounds, and to get there, you have 2,500 pounds worth of cargo, which in a small guy like this is a lot. It is a lot. So you have very strong axles and very good weight distribution. Anyway, if you have any more questions, feel free to give me a shout on my cell, 780-289-1732, and we can go from there. Hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.